What's up everyone, Barricade here, and I'm bringing you guys another episode of Gears of War lore. Today we're going to be finally talking about Gears of War Hivebusters number 2. And the reason why I say finally is because I have no idea why, but they delayed this comic for literally 5 months. If you guys look in the last video I made talking about the first issue, it was literally back in May, and now we're in October. So I have no idea why, but whatever. So let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. So in the last issue, if you guys don't remember since it's been so long, the long story short of the first issue is that they destroyed a hive, and Hoffman gave Mac a mission of going to the specific hive that destroyed his hometown of Croya and killed everyone he cared about. So now he's on a revenge mission to destroy this hive, and he was supposed to go alone, but then later with other soldiers, but Keegan and Lonnie decided they wanted to go with him. They want to be the ones to help him in this particular mission. So that's the one thing that's really cool. They want to keep the group together, essentially, Team Scorpio. But in the last issue, at the very end, we see that once they got to Croya, they saw a statue of Mac, and they were kind of confused to what that was about, and Mac ended the comic by basically saying that's a long story. Now we're here with Mac and everyone standing in front of the statue, and Mac explains simply that when it came to their community of Croya, everyone knew everyone, and everyone had a weird style of life where anyone could get a medal, depending on what you did. And he was an amazing driver, delivery driver. He would just, that was his job. And he would drive around delivering anything to everyone. And since he was so helpful and useful, they decided to build a statue for him and gave him medals. And it was kind of a thing where anyone could get a medal for anything at all, including his friend Danny, who he stated that got a medal for being a gardener, a gardening award. And everyone mattered, and so everyone knew each other. They were really close, a very small but loving community. So that was a really interesting thing there about him, and he stated that growing up he didn't really appreciate the simplicity of it until after what had happened. But after what would happen, he simply stated that he dreamt of the quiet. As you can see here, the whole area, the whole community is just slaughtered and destroyed because of the swarm hive that erupted and killed everybody. Now the Team Scorpio simply makes their way, and they have to go down past this broken bridge. They have to lower themselves down, and once they do so, they notice something very horrifying. Essentially a graveyard in the bottom lake, filled with nothing but corpses and skeletons of everyone that Mac knew. And he was very distraught about it, to know that everyone he knew is dead. But the one thing that was really cool that made me feel like, Mac is a good character when he said this right here. Keegan asked him, "Mac, you okay, man?" And Mac said, "Not really. Thing of it is, these bastards are the fortunate ones. They were allowed to die. We should all be so lucky." Which is true, because the thing that's really sad about fighting the swarm now, different than fighting the locust, is you can be taken and changed, and it almost feels like you're not allowed to die because you become something else. And at least these people got to have a noble death fighting for their lives against this enemy, and now they're just gone. They're not a part of them, and they died protecting civilians, letting them get across that bridge that we just saw in the previous picture. And they just fought to the death protecting them. So it was a very valiant battle for these poor ex-soldiers. These people that lived in Croya just had normal simple lives after the war, and they had nothing to do with the cog. I wouldn't even consider them stranded because they were just happy and living alone with their families and loved ones. And unfortunately they were slaughtered by the swarm. Next thing we see here is Team Scorpio make their way to an abandoned house with a broken down vehicle, ironically called Mr. Reliable, and he stated that this vehicle was very unreliable and it constantly broke down all the time on their delivery runs. And one of his fellow co-workers by the name of Amanda loved this vehicle for some reason and would never junk it, no matter how many times he protested that they needed to get rid of it. And he decided that they needed to work on it to get it going, and luckily it was in a shape where, while it wasn't working right now, he could easily get it working within about an hour. While he was working on it, he made a joke stating that while the cog is a horrible dictatorship, they know how to make an engine. Keegan got a little offended by this and telling him that this dictatorship was something that your father served under, and to show some respect for your father and your team. And Mac simply responds with, "Alright, Keegan, praise be the holy divine cog." So kind of just giving a little bit of sass back, and Keegan's like, that's better. And while he's simply working on the vehicle, the rest of Team Scorpio decide to split up and check the old home to see if maybe there's something useful or anything that they can use while on their trip to find the hive that they're going to destroy. Keegan tells Mac that he wants everyone to stay on their toes because something about Croya, the area that they're in, puts him on the edge, and he feels very uneasy, and not many things rattle him, but for some reason this area does. And Mac agrees that they just need to push forward and just keep on their toes. While they're inside the home, Lonnie and Keegan look through the area, and while the home is clear, it is destroyed and desolate. But they luckily find some warm old beers inside one of the old refrigerators that are broken down. They make a toast and start enjoying themselves, discussing to one another their personal hardships. Keegan stating that he felt like being a part of the COG would mean saving the world, but he's never really had too much action, and the main action that he's ever had was doing the hive busting. Ever since he got bumped up to Onyx Guard, he's never really did anything of importance other than this. And Lonnie stating that she wants to go back to her original squad called the Brash Brigade, but she's worried because she doesn't know if any of them are still alive. If you guys didn't know, she was actually in prison for quite some time due to some type of mishap while being a soldier, most likely disobeying an order or something along those lines, but we don't know exactly what. She was in prison for about 4 years, and then now is free, so she doesn't know if any of those soldiers are still alive. One thing that is annoying Keegan though is that while Mac is back in his own hometown and seeing all this death of his family and loved ones, he still seems to have a normal happy face, and he doesn't seem very distraught to him. Mac is, but he doesn't really show his emotion that much. And Lonnie tells Keegan that everyone deals with their sadness their own way, and obviously that Mac is distraught, but he's not gonna just show it and throw a fit. As they're discussing, we see that Mac did finally fix Mr. Reliable, and they're ready to go. As soon as he turns on the engine though, the sounds awaken the nearby swarm, and they get attacked. They get pushed, and Mac has to make his way back to get the rest of his squad. He actually does a full-on reversal while taking gunfire and crashes into the home to pick them up. They hop in the back while Mac drives, and he tells them to get ready for a bumpy ride. They start releasing gunfire as they're driving away, running over the swarm in a huge battle. Luckily they are able to actually get away, but while they're doing this, they see that they're going to be attacked by something even worse at this point. A flock. A flock has gone on top of them, and they're shooting everything they can at it, but it doesn't seem like they can do anything for it. The flock is coming, and they're running out of space, and they really need to get away before it's too late. The comic book issue ends with them being surrounded by the flock, and we'll see what happens next. So overall, this second issue was actually really good, guys. I really liked it a lot. I feel like it was a lot more straightforward and simpler than the first issue. If you guys remember my first video, I discussed a lot of different aspects of the story, but when it comes to this particular video, it's pretty straightforward. There wasn't really anything I really needed to go into depth about. But yeah, guys, if you guys like this video, please definitely hit that like button and subscribe, and tell me what you guys think about Gears of War Hivebusters number 2. Are you guys excited for this comic series? Are you going to be picking it up? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and also hit that notification bell so anytime I make a video, you guys can be notified. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and take it easy. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see my most recent Gears of War video, hit that link on the left. If you want to see any of my other content, hit that link on the right. Thanks for watching, guys.